What exactly is good about the money if the hunters are now being hunted while protecting Nigerians? It's a sad moment in the history of Nigeria again today because we have 8 NSCDC officers already being slain in Edo State and the kidnapped victim already still at large. And we hope we are going to be seeing new things happening about our security architecture, looking at how porous it has become to actually live in Nigeria and work in Nigeria.
Mm.
Looking at the stories in detail, 8 NSCDC officers have been killed and the Chinese kidnapped in Edo State. We're looking at this story this morning and reflecting on our security operatives going out there to do their work and finding out that they cannot go home to their loved ones. This happened in Edo State. More, I'm worried about this incident that happened in Edo State, and I don't exactly know how to actually appease the families of these officers at this time.
Even though there's nothing good about the morning, I would still say good morning, Mr. Ikemba. Good morning, IBK.
Good morning.
I think this is a very, very sad moment for us in the country because this is a very disheartening information that got to me. Seeing the security personnel that are supposed to protect us falling into the hands of victims, being ambushed while on duty. It's actually a very, very sad thing for us in the country. And having a foreigner kidnapped will definitely paint a black paint on our country's image. So I think this is not something that we would want. But I think, IBK, you'd like to share more information to us about it.
Basically, it shows again how our military force, basically military or paramilitary forces, are inequipped for the dangers that they face on a day-to-day basis. They need to be better equipped to, because basically 8 of them were killed. Was it that they were not armed? Is it that they were not adequately armed? Is it that they were... Basically it was just a show of overpowering, you know, of our military forces at the same time. So it's something that needs to be talked about. And then the foreigner being kidnapped, it says so much about our security structure. Now we see all these things happen on a daily basis to an average Nigerian, basically talking about, and then they have become one of the numbers. Every Nigerian, okay, we hear, okay, this person was kidnapped here, these other people were kidnapped, so many students have been kidnapped, but now it's a foreigner and it's an international issue. It makes it difficult, you know, for international bodies and organizations to feel safe coming to Nigeria, because Nigeria has now become the home of insecurity.
Now, looking at this story, it's not just one attack for just a state. We are looking at the insecurity spreading around states at this point in time, because looking at what is happening in Zamfara, looking at what is happening in Kano.
Yeah,
Katsina, it has become a trend.
It's a trend.
It's a very trend that we need to call at instant and begin to think about exactly how to keep Nigerians safe. Imagine it's NSCDC officer actually attached to a foreigner. They went straight to kill this whole security operatives around the Chinese guy, and now kidnapped him and took him away. And actually, it begs to ask a very, very critical question: how our security operatives are they well funded? Are they well equipped? Are we looking at good training from them? And look at what if a Chinese guy can be kidnapped and taken away? What happens to the ordinary man on the street?
Mr. Ikemba, this is a very good question, because we have seen instances whereby these terrorists, I'll label them as terrorists because that's what they are. We have seen the kind of heavy ammunitions they have, because I think weeks back I came across a video of bandits holding a very high efficient weapon.
Yes.
An RPG that can take down a helicopter.
They are usually more armed than our security apparatus.
How do they get access to these weapons? That our security, is it that we don't have the money to get these weapons? If you are sending somebody on a duty, give him what he needs.
I mean, with the billions that are going into our security architecture, you think we'll have better weapons.
And also looking at what Senator Ned Nwoko is also trying to bring to fore, he has been pushing the bill for self-arm. And looking at what is happening also in Borno State, where the governor has tried to arm the citizens, training them on how to actually use ammunition. Are we looking at a failed state? or are we looking at governors trying to do the necessity at this time of the this time in our country?
There's a blueprint for the, I will not call it a failed state, but there's a blueprint for that, because a state whereby even we have seen when even the officials have been attacked. We have seen it. It has happened here. We have seen where they enter. Was it not in Kaduna that they entered NDA, a whole defense academy, a whole defense institution like that? So you see, if that place is not even protected, where do you think it can be protected?
Well, and also looking at this from the international angle, like Barry said, we are looking at it affecting the
international
how
image.
the investors begin to see us as a people, because we have consulars and embassies are beginning to issue out security warnings to their citizens. And the one we begin to ask that, at what time do we begin to reassure the confidence of the people when it comes to insecurity? Because we cannot continue to live in fear as a people and we expect investors to come in. So I'm looking at this issue. This happened to an expatriate working with BOA. Are we looking at other investors beginning to analyze, critically look at how and what they should be doing in Nigeria? Because at the point in time, people are going to be looking at what am I going to do there when insecurity is
prevalent. Yes, because Mr. Ikemba, if we're being honest, I will not, even you, let's be realistic. You will not come to a place and put your money when you know you are going to be at loss, when you know your money is not safe.
But not even money. We're talking about life. Yeah, your life isn't safe not even to begin with.
Because in the street they say now who they alive now they care about property.
Yes,
honestly, your life first. In a position whereby it's not even you losing your resources, your life is at danger. How do you expect these people to come?
Because the primary assignment of these security operatives is to protect lives and property. And if they are not well equipped and underfunded, because I'm looking at the welfare of these people. Because if we are assigning about 8 NSCDC officers to an expatriate, it comes back to the system. Because if the system is failing, then it's a reflection of what we are seeing as reality in our society. Because at the point in time, looking at what happened in Borno, looking at what happened in Katsina, looking at what happened in Kaduna, like you said, one will begin to take toll. Are these not just numbers? Or are we looking at critically analyzing what is going on in our country? Not about us trying to put up headlines that the ECOWAS is raising 260,000 counter-terrorism. But why the terrorism is actually happening in our own country? So, let me
you called Nigeria. You asked if it was a failed state. I mean, we're showing signs and symptoms. How do you diagnose a patient? Basically, you check the symptoms that the patient is exhibiting and everything, and then you check Nigeria's signs and symptoms, and you see symptoms of a failed state, a state that cannot protect its own, and it has gone far beyond that. It has become an international embarrassment that even foreigners as well too. Anyway, it was a long time coming, because what do you expect if citizens are not safe in their own homeland? How would foreigners expect to be safe in our country? So it's something that security architecture needs to do better. Government as a whole needs to do better. They need to focus on security, because our security structure is failing.
Mo, before you go on that, I want to pick your thoughts on this. How do you actually begin to I want you to put yourself in the position of families sending out their loved ones to protect Nigeria as soldiers?
You see, President Mr. Ikemba, we have seen instances whereby military personnel come out and complain about they don't have proper place to sleep. If they are taken on duty, they don't have proper place to sleep. Their salary itself, it's not something that can even hold them. Talk less of sending to.
So the welfare is just.
So the welfare is poor. Honestly, the welfare is poor. Because you see, they'll complain. I think I came across one video I think it's in Lagos or in where that I saw a building that police personnel were sleeping. It was, even with money, you'd not sleep there. So I think the government needs to invest more in the welfare of these people. These are people that are sacrificing their lives. They have families, but they're leaving their families. Well, so I think the government needs to do better.
We just want to call out the federal government to begin to look into the welfare of our security operatives, one, and begin to protect lives and properties as it's supposed to be, because we cannot continue to mask ourselves with we are doing all we can. No, we need to start doing the best.
We need to do better.
Yeah,
because we need to come
better.
together.
If this is our best, we need to better our best.
Yeah. And now looking at the northern groups, they are calling for the sack of the service chiefs. But is this really about men in uniform, or the system that keeps failing us? Because
it's about performance at the end.
Yeah,
of the
because
day.
now we are looking at service. The northern group are calling for the sacks of the whole service chiefs, and it begs to point out to very, very critical points here. One, service chiefs are the ones that lead our troops, lead the police force. And we also have some groups also calling for state policing. Now, if we are calling for the sack of service chiefs, are we also going to be calling out the governors who are not actually directly calling the shots when it comes to what the security operatives should be doing in each state, in each locality? So I'm looking at the mix here.
Mr. Ikemba, you see this issue of service chiefs, of northern elders. I don't want to be disrespectful, but we have seen instances whereby these people know the bandits, the kidnappers, they stay in the same community, but they do not tell the operatives these are the people. They are also part of the problem.
Obviously.
The problem is not only the security agencies. They are also part of the problem.
Yeah, because it's also reflective of what's happening in Niger Delta also. Because we have people complaining in Niger Delta.
Mr. Ikemba, most of these bandits that we are having in the they are people
they live in
the
community.
They live
Everybody knows them.
They know them.
Like those are
but they will not
week,
open up. I think there was a video of Katsina State Governor where he was telling them they should tell him, let them, like the community. We said, you people know them, but you people are refusing to speak. What are the people saying? That if they speak, these people are going to attack them.
But I want us to critically look at something here, the strategy that we are actually using to actually pursue insecurity in the country. Because we cannot be changing and swapping our service chiefs just like we swap jerseys in the football scenario. But we have to also look at what exactly is the plan. Because if our security architecture is not stating what the service chiefs should be doing, what are their primary functions, what are their primary objectives, because I think when Buhari came into power, he said he was going to tell Buratai and all to move to the
northeast as of that time.
And I'm looking at if that is what the order was. What was his strategy? Was it a kill, capture, or he just capture and jail? Because we have seen where most of these bandits are being reformed.
Yes.
And I don't understand when you say they are being reformed and you're bringing them, you're reintegrating them into the society. And we keep seeing pockets of insecurity everywhere in the country. Are we seeing a failed plan or are we seeing a no plan?
You see, from the I'll use my mouth to help and bite the onion of somebody. Like what Erufai said, there is no repentant bandit. There is not. The only repentant bandit is a dead one.
Repenting, you agree.
Mr. Ikemba, a situation whereby somebody is already used to seeing millions
also looking at what led them into banditry.
Yeah, the system is also a problem. The system is also contributes to that. The system, because we see unemployment, lack of proper amenities. Probably they do not have proper. Maybe somebody they've been giving money. A community has been giving money to build healthcare, and somebody stole it. So that's also a trigger. There's no proper. If there was work for them, they would have not joined that. But one of the things I want you to see, Mr. Ikemba, somebody that have seen that is used to collecting 10 million, all of a sudden you expect him to come and give him a job that he will pay him 5,000. You think he's going to adapt to that job, saying that these people collect ransom. You can't just come and say you've reformed them. No. How about the people they've put in trauma, people's family that they've killed? You expect me now to see you after that nonsense you've done to come and be living in the same community with you? It's impossible. So I think the government should, the matter of reforming these people should be.
And I think, we talk about the psychological aspect as well, because there's the traits of a killer. There's the psychology of a killer, basically. So someone that has been killing, that has been used to seeing the shed of blood. This person has become used to it. The shed of blood basically has no impact on this person.
It has become normal.
It has become a normal to this person, right? The person is used to it, and we also see in let's just even talk about our soldiers, for instance. You know, when they are done with the wars, someone who has fought wars before and then they are supposed to be reintegrated. You see, those people have a rough time, a tough time blending into the society because this is what they are used to. This has become their has become their new normal, right? So trying to blend these people into the society is really hard and everything. And I don't even think they have the structure and apparatus to blend these people back with the society. So they should stop kidding themselves. These people that have been captured, you know, these bandits that have been captured, they should serve their time. They should serve because they are terrorists. Let us not butter it. Let's not sugarcoat it. They are terrorists. If you want to use them as informants, by all means do, right? But they should serve their time as terrorists. Don't say that you're integrating them into society because they are the same. But basically, but they are the same people that will come back again and cause mayhem. Our security, we're talking about, we're combating security. It has never seemed to end. This security, we have been combating security for years and years, and it has not seemed to end. Why? Because we capture these ones and we throw them back into society. So how would the security?
Barry, I want to take a timeline here. Under the Goodluck Jonathan administration, President Goodluck Jonathan administration, we saw President Jonathan telling General Ejika to go into the war zone and get these people all taken down. And while he was at his job, we saw these same northern groups actually called for the head of Ejika that he was killing their own people.
That's why I told you they are also part of the problem.
When it came to
they are also part of
President
the problem.
Buhari's tenure, we had the Buratai reign, and during the Buratai reign, the same thing we saw, that people were complaining that in the southeast, their people were being killed. Now it's the time of TINUBU's administration. Now we are still seeing the same northern groups saying they are actually trying to call back the service chiefs. Now, I'm looking at strategy here, which is very, very key for any team to win. If there's no strategy, if there's no plan, you are actually doomed to actually lose the fight. So now, if the theater of war is no longer in the bush, and we are now seeing it in our communities, because this is Edo State, this is not Katsina, this is not Zamfara. So now, we are looking at what exactly is the best strategy. Are we going to be looking at per region, per service chief, or per each state to begin to look at state policing?
Well, basically, at the end of the day, it's solving the situation as per the region, right? For like we saw with the south zone, the southeast, and the southwestern part of Nigeria. They've employed community policing as well. It's to each region they tailored whatever works for them, really, because it's not we're not looking at a blanket check thing. It's what works for you. It's just the same way we adopted democracy, and we don't think it's the best fit for our country as a whole, Nigeria. That's my take on it. But then getting tailored solutions to each problem, because we can't just throw whatever solution and think they stick. Do the research. We have a lot of people who have come out with researches and everything. Do the research. How is the best? What's the best way? Call the people of the community together. Call the elders and everything. What's the best way they think it is to combat security in your region? It may work for A, it may not work for B. But what is the best? What's the best? And that's basically what we want to see. If we are going to see change, we need to find.
So Mo, that's why I was asking the question about not about who is leading, but what's the plan? Because if you look at what late President Yar'Adua did in the Niger Delta with his vice, and who later became the president, they actually brought in the policy of amnesty for the Niger Delta. And we are looking at, is this the best solution? What other means can we use to actually begin to tailor this our security strategy into the best and the best of the whereby we start talking about, truly, like the president said, corruption has ended. Probably we should be saying that insecurity has also ended.
You see, insecurity is a very, very serious issue, just like what Barry said. I think the governments need to get a single solution to a single problem. You do not generalize. And in terms of state policing, I think it's a matter of competence. It's a matter of competence rather than just maybe you're the highest ranking officer. If you're not competent enough, I don't think it's okay for you to be in that position.
Even though with the ranking officer and you don't have a strategy to go into.
That's what I'm saying. It's not by probably you should be lieutenant general as long as you don't have the strategy, and a lower ranking officer, maybe a major general has. I think he's more fit, he's more competent.
Are you not looking at we are not giving adequate training?
No, it's not about
under-equipped.
There's a problem of under-equipment.
Underfunding, the welfare of the.
Yes, that's also a factor.
We must not remove all these as a criteria and factors that will actually lead to success in every.
Because you see, in a country whereby some people are earning times 10 of what people that protect our lives, we've seen instances where military officers sell bullets to the bandits. When you talk, they tell you there's no salary, they have to. I think that's a problem of welfare. So I think if the government are going to look into welfare of these people, the morale, it's about morale. I'm not earning well for you to push me into the bush. Give these people proper salary. That will give them.
That can actually take them home. Like it's called a take-home pay. You can't take them nowhere. You can't take them through the end of the month. You can't even support a family.
In this country, some people are earning $1 million+, whereby some people are earning, these people are earning less than 150,000.
I mean,
it's actually
our leaders travel all the time. They see the way they earn in other countries. Why can't they adopt that? They love to adopt a lot of things. Please, by all means, adopt this paying system and let it be rewardable. Yeah, you're putting your life on the line. Let it count for something.
Well, speaking about reward system for our service men and women, I'm moving to the real battle where Elon Musk's ex has been in a head-on collision with the federal government, talking about the DSS and the Sowore, Yele Sowore, who is the editor of Sahara Reporter. And he has claimed to be a social activist and human rights activist.
He was a presidential candidate
and also a presidential candidate.
Yes.
But this situation is actually one that actually keeps me wondering exactly what is the job of the DSS and what exactly is the DSS doing with a private individual chasing around when we still have stories of insecurity looming around in the country. But anyway, the story itself actually speaks volume of what actually is the priority of the DSS.
Yes.
DSS has written to Elon Musk's ex, that they should take down the account, the handle, and the text that was contained in his post. And looking at what actually Yele Sowore said, where he called the president a criminal, he said this criminal has gone to Brazil. Now, those words, freedom of speech or national security, I don't know what's your take.
You see, firstly, let me address the issue of the this DSS issue. You see, just few hours, I will not call it, just few days, hours ago, we saw this Edo problem. Thank you. I think the DSS should have focused more on the kidnapped victim rather than this truth. Because I think we're practicing a democracy whereby people are allowed to criticize. We've seen where the present president have been criticizing past presidents during their tenure. We've seen him criticize former president Goodluck being a journalist. So I think this is a platform for free speech. I think free speech is allowed, but the context in whereby they're invading his privacy, telling him to pull it down, whereby we've seen people criticize. We've seen the president criticize, not even the president, in a working system like the United States. We've seen where Trump criticizes
before he got into power.
He's been criticizing. There's no sort of words he has not used.
Joe.
Yeah, it was called him Sleeping Joe. There was no word he
we're in a democracy whereby we have freedom of speech. The president
said.
Are you
saying that there is no limit, no boundary to how you?
No, there's a boundary, but there's a boundary.
Or is there?
But at what point did that become a security issue? Really?
Thank you.
I remember, quite frankly, in Jonathan's time, right?
Optics of you calling a sitting president a criminal.
I think if it was a serious issue, they should have taken a legal action rather than the DSS invading his privacy. They should take a legal action against him. Okay, you accuse me of being a criminal, then he should come with his proofs, but not DSS intervening in some.
What are the veracity towards you calling a sitting president a criminal? Does he have a criminal record?
He might know something else we don't know.
We are beginning to look at, does he have a criminal record? Was his statement in Brazil, does he criminalize?
Is it valid?
Does he criminalize the president? Because he said that corruption has ended. And Omoyele Sowore is saying that the president is actually corruption personified. So
but to cut it short, has corruption ended in Nigeria?
Well, I will leave that to the EFCC and the ICPC and other.
We have seen cases. We have seen cases.
To butcher things, right?
We have seen cases, but cases will not mention. But we've seen cases.
Corruption really ended in Nigeria.
So I think Sowore might be speaking out of pain. He feels like he's trying to. The president is trying to deceive.
Well, Sowore used to be in the very good books of the APC with the advent of the Buhari-led administration. He was part of the mantra of change at that point in time. I think we should all be looking at it objectively, because I see Sowore actually crying out because he's not being favored. That's my opinion. And at the same time, the government of the day are looking at it that Sowore is not speaking in their favor, and either he's hitting them hard. And looking at the privacy of Sowore, I think X has come out explicitly to say that they are not going to take down.
It's an optional take for them. Either if he wants to take it down,
freedom
fine.
of speech. I don't know what
nothing.
it is with the APC government, because I will say the APC government because it started with Buhari, right? It started with the Buhari administration. First, it was hate speech. They came in the form of hate speech. You know, anything said against the government is hate speech. It's hate speech. And then before you know it, they banned TikTok. Twitter, sorry. They banned X, and
Twitter,
then
formerly, X,
we had to do
every form of, even the press wasn't free. There was this fine if you say anything against. There was this fine that was put on saying anything against the government, and it's very questionable. It's laughable because we claim we're a democratic system. We claim that we're a democratic society. So at what point does the democracy start? Because you do things to the people. There has to be feedback. The people have to speak back.
So I think they're trying to make it a trend.
You're talking you implement policies. What are these policies for? They are for the citizens, right?
People from criticism. Are they trying to make it a trend?
I mean, any government that is what is sought should receive criticism and feedback from the people, and they're trying to block themselves on that. It's laughable, really.
Yeah, we should also begin to look at social media. There's a social media bill that's actually in circulation already. I think
of all the things that are going on in the country, it's social media that is a problem.
If the DSS feels that at any time what you're writing is going to cause a national breakdown of the system, I think there are other means of actually going about this. But
that's them sugarcoating.
Whatever Omoyele Sowore has said in his tweet can actually be, let them exercise their legal rights and go to the court.
That's what I think.
That's the same thing.
If they feel, yes.
Rather than coming to try to pull, they should take a legal action.
There is no longer freedom of speech in this country.
And advice on what to do, but for them to pull down the tweet, that's not their prerogative to actually go ahead to do that.
It's not enough that they've turned our legislature into yes men. Now they want to silence us, the citizenry. We won't stand for it. We would speak up.
Well,
please.
This is the what I call the global digital resistance era.
Exactly.
When foreign platforms begin to decide to bend, they don't bend for the states anymore, and we are seeing the pushback against authoritarian control online. And we begin to see how the social space, because we talk about the Arab rising, and I think since then, governments are beginning to look at how best they can actually, mostly in Nigeria, especially in Nigeria, they have been looking for ways to actually curb how we go online to vent. And I think that's the only space where Nigerians vent, because after the NSAS, where many were killed, I think others
you come out to protest, you kill us. Now we are not free to talk online. Like our social media space, we're not free. You want to curb us from talking there. It's laughable. Really.
Well, we'll leave it to the social space where we have to ask you freedom versus security. Yeah, that is a debate that Nigerians have not been able to settle up together. And well, I think my colleagues also have some other stories for you.
Mr. Ikemba, thank you for your presentation. That was very lovely.
Yeah.
I think we've been able to share our own opinions, and Nigerians too. I hope there's a comment section available for you to give us feedback of what you think. Senator Natasha, Wonder Woman, the woman of different wonders. She's set to resume Senate after her London trip. I think the Senate are supposed to resume plenary on 23rd of this month.
Yes.
So what do you think, Mr. Ikemba? Do you think she would be allowed into the building after what we saw, after the court order, after the disrespect on the judicial system? Do you think she would be allowed to?
Well, looking at the timeline of the case between Senator Natasha Akpoti and the National Assembly, one will begin to ask several questions. Is the National Assembly a VIP luxury lounge, or are we looking at them actually legislating for the people to begin to be liberated, have good schools, have good policies in place? Because what we are seeing is just infighting between Natasha Akpoti and and Senator Akpabio, because these are the two people who are actually having this fracas in the National Assembly. The court actually gave a specific ruling that Natasha should go back, that the action taken by the National Assembly leadership was excessive. No, it was excessive. And they said it was excessive. And I think that was in July. And if in July they gave that court ruling, but the dynamics of our politics at the National Assembly is very, very funny, because like Barry said, that we are no longer seeing a legislature that is for the people, but for themselves. That's the elites. And I'm looking at it from another picture entirely. If you are saying that what the court has said is just an advisory statement, then you are beginning to normalize what I will call crime in the society. So the court can actually give a ruling, and the National Assembly will play it flat, like, oh, it's nothing. It's just.
I mean, is it the job of the legislature to interpret the law?
Like,
it was the court.
Like we know the whole. We operate a 3 arms of government system, whereby none is superior to the other. All of them are there to checkmate each other, but none is in the position to undermine the other. So what we saw in July, after the courts gave its order for Natasha to go back, does that mean the legislative arm of government is superior to the judicial arm? Because it was an order.
Absolutely not.
I mean, in the field,
when the court,
we saw the video
when the court gives an order, it's not for you to begin to interpret, for it to favor or to suit your sentiments or emotions. Because I see what the legislators are doing. They're trying to actually coin the words of the court, which is not actually is an order.
It's an order.
She has to resume immediately. But now I think they are waiting for the 6 months to expire. Yeah, and now they call her back. And that the plenary is to resume in September 23. And I think we should begin to look at a situation whereby we are looking at critical legislation and not processes that actually endorse executive rascality. Because we have gone beyond the days of where carry Ghana must go, come, make everybody do okay. No. Whatever decision you are making in the National Assembly is affecting every Nigerian in this country. And when you begin to throw in like a radical attitude towards what is actually touching the people of Kogi State, because she is representing her constituent.
I mean, and her people love her.
Yeah, and because the INEC has shown that the INEC process that went in the callback process.
Yeah, I think I saw it. Yeah. It was a very shameful act because of this. There was a plan to call her back. Yeah, which was abolished, which it was not possible. I think that was it was not just only
it was not only abolished because it was just a mere exercise.
Because
it was because of the sham.
I saw people. At the end of the day, right?
I think they were paid. There were people there that they asked them. They asked them, why are you here? They said they don't know. Natasha must come back. What did she do? They don't even know.
Well, at the end of the day, we should begin to ask ourselves critical questions. Why exactly are we at the National Assembly? I mean, I'm talking to the National Assembly members now, because each day Nigerians keep crying out for help. And it seems like help is not coming today, tomorrow, or next year, or 2027. Because all we keep saying is the elites are all being favored. We're talking about a stable economy. Who is the economy favoring? We are talking about legislation. Who are those in the legislative arm of government? Are they not the elites? So we are talking about how best that your legislation will affect the common man. All what you are doing is just how your pocket has been filled. So let's begin to look at how Senator Natasha Akpoti is being returned back to the National Assembly without them, because I'm looking at another drama coming up when she resumes, because her lawyer has said she will be resuming, and the National Assembly has no power to restrict her from doing her legislative duties. Let's see how it all pans out there.
I mean, it's this particular incident of Natasha Akpoti, as well as the court order and then the legislative reaction to it. It just shows the blatant disregard for our law by our top officials.
Absolutely.
Because they feel that they are above the law. Really, at the end of the day, it has gotten so bad that as a collective body, they decide to interpret the law. At the end of the day, so they've taken upon themselves the role of the judiciary, really, because we said the legislation make laws, the judiciary executes, I mean, they interpret the law, and the executive executes the law, and then they are taking up the role of the judiciary, and it's laughable, really. And it shows that Nigeria needs to do better, right? The checks and balances that we're talking about, what are we doing? Like, where are the checks and balances that we've been talking about? Who checkmates them? Who checkmates their activities? Because in actual fact, you know, the law is supposed to checkmate them. The law isn't checkmating their activities. So basically, at what point are they called to order? And that is the reason why Nigeria has continually gone into the state of degradation at every point in time. So basically, it's an issue for topic, like, of discussion, right, for everybody in Nigeria as a whole. So it's laughable, and then it's worrisome at the same time. So these are the questions plaguing the minds of Nigerians. At what point do we get it right, and who checkmates their abilities at the end of the day?
You see, Mr. Ikemba, looking at it from another angle, there was a case of sexual abuse. She said there was a sexual harassment case. Where is the position of the case now? We've not heard anything now. Because I think the only thing that has been there is her suspension. Where is the case? We've not heard anything. Does that mean the case is dead?
Well, the case of sexual harassment or sexual abuse, I think, is in the courts. And for me, I would just say that public service should not be a VIP privilege, because it's a call for service, and it's not a call for you to keep wasting taxpayers' money. Because if at the end of the day she resumes from a long holiday in London and now resumes, all those while that she has been out of service to her people, what then and how do we measure her returns to our people? Because these people have elected her for a reason, not for her to be sexually harassed at the National Assembly or by any officer at all. So I just want to leave that to the court, since the case is in the court. It's not in our place to actually push more over these matters that are in court. But my own opinion is circled around her legislative duties as a senator for that constituency. Because if she's being hampered from doing that job, then there leaves a lacuna for the people of Kogi State.
And thank you, Mr. Ikemba. I think the federal government needs to look more into this issue, because this is they said when two elephants are fighting, it's the underdogs that are going to. So now you see the issue of Natasha and the legislature having an issue. You see the people of Kogi that are suffering from, because they don't have a proper representative right now. Exactly. Moving on, we have Dangote versus Nupeng. I came across this whereby the Nupeng said they were going to go on strike because of their whole problem with Dangote. Where do you see this thing? From what angle are you going to look at this problem, Mr. Ikemba?
Well, I'm looking at it from an oil giant who actually fighting with a union giant, because Nupeng actually is a union, and Dangote is actually an oil exploring and sales in Nigeria. They sell their products in Nigeria. But that's not even the very, very critical issue here. The critical issue is that the federal government needs to step in they need to step in immediately.
I think they have, because there's a meeting that was supposed to...
There's a strike that is looming already.
The strike was supposed to start from today, Monday.
And if they don't step in today, what we envisage already is looming scarcity around the country, because NUPENG actually, their main mandate is actually to transport and distribute oil products around the country. And Dangote is saying that he's introducing his own trucks that will take up this
distribution
line. And now, in every sink line, we have the union and we have the operators. And these operators actually are guided by rules and obligations. And now, if Dangote is coming to bridge that, I think that's where the job of the regulatory body, which is the federal government, needs to step in and say, come, these are your limits. These are the job specifications for these people. Let them take up their responsibilities. Why you also take it? Because two of them, like my people say, the sky is large enough for everyone to fly. So if you can bring in your trucks, you say your own trucks are going to be cheaper, your services are going to be cheaper. Let your free services, let it be laid down. Because in a monopolistic policy by capitalists, all he's trying to do is just lay down something that is cheap for you. At the end of the day, raise the capital, raise his prices, and now you buy into it. After a while, you are feeling comfortable. The prices come.
Don't be too certain to say.
How about because these are speculations.
These are speculations. But I said this is what we are envisaging. But I'm looking at it from the part of NUPENG, the part of Dangote's responsibility as a businessman. Now, the regulatory body, which is the federal government, should step in and say, this is a common ground. I hope that the meeting they're going to today yields a positive result, because at the end of the day, Nigerians will suffer. That is the truth. Because no matter where two giants are fighting, the grass will always be the ones to bear the brunt. Because we are looking at oil prices already. We are praying that oil prices should come down. We pray so. But if there's scarcity, you know what it means. Black markets will begin to spring up. And don't think that anywhere who has fuel, anywhere who has to do his job, will branch off to the Mama Nkechi or Mama Amina, who is selling fuel there, fuel your car and move. And if you are driving a Lamborghini, I don't think you will have to... How many people
are driving a Lamborghini? I don't know, maybe you parked your own outside instead you came back.
Barry,
do you think the strike was the best decision the NUPENG union would have come up with? Because, this will definitely affect our economic... because businesses will stop now. If there's no proper flow of fuel, if there's scarcity, businesses will flow, and it will definitely affect economy.
They use a working strategy for them. There's this saying that whoever doesn't hear words must hear action. Yeah. And NUPENG has acted, and it is due to their action that they have been drawn to the drawing table, where the government has called them as well as Dangote Group to sit down at the drawing table and find their differences. At the end of the day, they voiced out their complaints. They are a body. They will actually have to talk about the welfare of workers within their body. So at the end of the day, they did what was best for them. Everybody is looking after their interests at the end of the day.
For me, I would have asked, is this about workers' rights, or is it flexing muscle against the monopoly of a capitalist? Because either way, either way. Well,
because I really do not know. Do you have anything against Dangote?
No, I don't have anything against Dangote. Because my issue is this: either way, well, queues don't care about who is right or who is wrong.
No, it really doesn't.
At the end of the day, I just said Nigerians are going to bear the brunt of the whole infighting and outfighting. Because Dangote is standing his own ground, that he's bringing his own trucks, while NUPENG are telling you that they are protecting the rights of their members who actually transport their petroleum products from one end of the country to the other. So if fuel queues begin to emerge, we all know who are to actually bear the brunt of it. Nigerians who actually move every day about their daily lives, their activities. Everything will be halted.
Who were not part of this conversation at the end of the day.
It will be halted. The activities, business activities will be affected. Those who depend on generating sites to actually run their services. We have hospitals who will be depending on this also for power stations to begin to run on gas. So
might even lead to another hike in prices.
So we should look at this critically from everybody's perspective, and not just from Dangote's perspective or from NUPENG's or the umpire who are trying to settle them off now, for them to come to a common ground whereby there's an agreement, because that's what we are looking for as Nigerians, for an agreement to come in play so that we can have more petroleum products circulating around the country.
I think the federal government should play a very good neutral ground between the Nupeng and Dangote, because I think this is going to really affect the economy if they do not come to a middle ground. Moving on, I think the issue of disagreements. There has been a very sad news that I came across, which the wife of ex-governorship candidates accused of killing him. This is really not a good thing to hear. This is a very bad news. But do you think the issue of, is this a political issue, or is this an issue of what is it called, domestic violence?
Well, it's a sad story, but one needs to begin to clock in on every other sad story that have led to the demise of spouses, which actually I call domestic violence, because the beginning of it all is what we don't actually know the story. But now, but the result now is what? The demise of the former governorship candidate in Edo State, Mr. Bamdele. And it's unfortunate that we've lost him. He's a very promising individual. He has the charisma of a leader. And now we have him in a morgue. The issue of domestic violence I think we have been playing lip service to it, though that we have a FAP Act that actually speaks a lot about it. But I think we should begin to look at ways to curb this. And I think the victim, either male or female, should speak up from the first strike. It should not be when you wait for it to linger,
to be a continuous...
or that you can handle this. There are some people that actually, there are mental issues that cause provocation, and we are looking at it from, oh, he's my husband, she's my wife, and then you try to hold off from complaining. While in other society, I'm looking at, like when people travel out, they tell you that in the US, it's not allowed for you to even hit another person. You speak with your, even verbal abuse is taken as a complaint in the police station. But we have here where our society calls it like weakness for a man to speak up and say that I'm being brutalized by my wife at home. You know, you feel like a lesser man for you to come and complain to be at the police station that, oh, my wife has been beating me at home. It's our society. But we need to begin to speak against these acts that actually lead to violence in homes, in offices, or in our social space. Because I see that most people don't even, when they don't agree, they become chaotic. But they don't understand that at a particular level, the individual differences will always allow the other person not to agree with you. So, but it should not lead to people, you know.
On the other hand, you see, we have seen cases of domestic violence, but mainly the picture they portray is men are the orchestrators of this domestic violence. Why do you think there is no much energy as it usually used to be if it was the other way around?
Well, first of all, I feel like we're jumping the gun, right? Because we've been quick to allege that it was the wife. Because at the end of the day, it's an allegation, right?
Towards her.
I don't really
police say that.
Basically,
let me talk. The police say that they're undergoing investigations, right? Because
it's not that they are undergoing an investigation to why she pushed the man from the balcony.
She's the suspect. She's
a prime suspect.
All hands point
at the end of the day, it's an allegation, right? So we'll find out the cause of it, and we'll find out if it was indeed, because we're jumping and saying domestic violence. Basically, she killed him. It had nothing to do with domestic violence. She basically killed him.
I think there were bruises all over his body. So I think it's obvious.
It's just that the picture we have is a very gory picture, and we will have loved to show the viewers at home and in their offices too to see.
Yeah.
But I understand where gender baiting comes to play. But we don't want to actually say that the women are more of a victim in this issue, or the men are more a victim. What my own ground rule is this: whatever that will lead to violence in any conversation, try to avoid it. And whoever strikes first reports. Don't keep it to I love her so much. She just hit me by mistake. Or I love him so much. He did this is first time. No. No. You don't endure violence, even though it might lead to you being killed. But
who says the first time cannot be the end of your life?
No,
really,
those are
the questions. Who says the first time
does not
invalidate the end of your life?
Without you dying?
At the end of the day, basically what I'm saying, right, is it is normal as human beings to be in conflict. It is normal for human beings to disagree on issues. It's normal for human beings to argue. It's normal for to have different opinions on things, but it should never lead to the point where you get physical. Whatever disagreements you have, there are so many platforms in which you can air your grievances. You can go to the court, you can go to your families, have it settled within your families, but at no point in time should it lead to you raising your hand on your wife, or as a woman raising your hand on your man. So basically it's the same on both sides. None should be tolerated at all. None should be. And it is basically known as gender-based violence most of the time, and towards a certain gender, because they have been known to be the weaker side, really they have been known to be the weaker side, like physically
but to cut you short,
and biologically, right? Wait. I know I'm getting somewhere, basically.
I understand.
I am getting. You guys don't get to let me land. But okay, you guys should talk over me, by all means.
No, we're not going to talk over you, because this is going to be gender baiting.
That's what she said.
Because I was trying to land on a point, but by all means, talk over me.
Yeah,
really.
Nobody's going to talk over you.
But we've seen instances whereby we've seen cases like the case of Mariam Sanda, whereby it's the lady that killed the husband. This is a second. I think this is another almost the same case. So does that mean?
No, where she's coming from is that most cases, statistically, it has shown that more women are being killed in domestic violence cases, and men actually are underreported, because I see most times that no man will go out there and tell you that my wife is hitting me at home. But most times, because there is always this sentimental issue that is surrounding women being actually victims, I think we see more of reported cases about women, because social experiments have shown that if in public you hit a woman, you see people running towards her and saying, why are you hitting a woman? But if you see in public where a woman is hitting, they show you love. That it's just anyway.
Moving on to our next story, we have Love is Easy. So Temi Otodola and Mr. Easy tied the knots, and we see that it goes viral on Vogue, because their wedding has been a long time ago, right? Yeah. Their first wedding in July, their court wedding happening in July, then their next marriage, their traditional happening in a different country, and their white wedding in a different country. Like, what do you have to say about the trend of destination weddings right now in Nigeria?
What's the surprise? Can you tell me the number spent on the wedding?
We're talking about to the tune of $15 million.
I took 3 seconds to think about the money, because that's a very crazy amount of money. But I think that's a very beautiful thing. I think one of the things we love to see us as humans is people coming together to understand themselves, to be committed to each other. This is a very beautiful thing. We've seen I think this is one of a kind wedding whereby they did it from Monaco to the traditional wedding, to the white wedding. It's a very beautiful thing. I think I'm very impressed. Mr. Easy, invitation no reach my side.
It's not easy, really.
Well,
it's not easy.
I was going to say the invitation did not get to me, because I'm also a global figure, and I was expecting my invitation, but as it is something that is global headline, and I'm making headline every day. And,
that's okay. No, they give this speech right now.
Well,
he was there.
Well, yeah, the speeches. I really enjoyed the speeches from the father of the bride to that of Dangote.
Yes.
Because I picked a lot.
Not be this speech where they give right
now. I picked a lot.
Know this one.
I picked a lot, and which actually I am preparing my own speech also for that very grand day when my daughter will be getting married. And I want to actually tell her, actually, one is for her to succumb to the husband, and number two, it must be he must be a great and very nice guy, because those three words I picked from.
Mr. Kim, are we seeing a replica of the finance being spent? Are we going to be expecting another 15 million?
You know, Elon Musk is taking us to the moon, space, and all that. We might start having weddings there in the space. I don't know where.
We see what they call it. Temi Otedola sporting designer dresses.
Yeah.
So one of her, all her dresses were designer made, and then we're talking about the grandeur of the wedding. It was low key. It was looking simple, but simple and magnified. Really, everything had money cuffed over it. For instance, Otedola admitted in his speech to buying 2 properties just for this wedding. For the purpose of this wedding. And we were talking about a lot of lavish money being spent on weddings and everything. And then it's we talked about it before, right? We talked about a lot of money being spent abroad, even down to the photographer. We hear that the photographer who took the pictures of this wedding charged $50,000 to the tune of, in naira, let's just say in naira, it's 77 million naira.
I was just going to bring up something about the cultural perspective that played out in all this. We saw people who were actually picking up ashwebi. The ashwebis were not the same like we see in a normal Nigerian setting where you see the Ankara, but no, we're seeing thick ashwebi, and these were expensive. I saw the mask going into the whole mix of the whole fashion. Of the whole wedding, but something actually piqued my mind there. The wedding dress that Timmy was wearing actually was a very spectacular one.
Yes.
And Vogue actually stated it to be an expensive wedding dress. And looking at Mr. Easy, who is also a billionaire.
He's a billionaire in his own right. 18 countries.
Because Dangote had to make that speech and had to say it clearly that this young man has companies in 18 different countries. So it's not about you just calling for a wedding as a man. Actually, you should be prepared. And that's why I said whoever is going to marry my daughter must be a great and wealthy guy. Because I don't want a situation whereby we are discussing about poverty alleviation policies. I want us to be discussing about things that actually would reckon with the reality of our time. Because these days, 1 million cannot solve any wedding anymore. If you want a wedding, I'll go and vote.
I'll second that because Mr. Ikemba, just like Otedola, I would love to give my book then as a wedding gift.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would just
you guys didn't get the point. You guys just didn't get his point. Basically, it was after basically he said that he was giving them the gift of a book after telling you how much he has already spent and invested into the wedding. And secondly, knowing fully well that the people that he is like joining together in marriage, they are established entrepreneurs. Really, they're doing so well for themselves. And then he said, basically, there was this word that he said. There's this word that he said. Because there's this word that he said that what really can he give them as a gift? Like whatever thing that he wants to give them as a gift, they probably could buy for themselves like 10 times over. Really.
Well, for me, I just saw what
you're talking about a billionaire and then the daughter of a billionaire.
I saw his soft power and a higher power playing out there. Yeah, where I'm talking about soft power. If you look at what we say in the society, your network is actually your net worth. Because if you see the net worth of
the people in that building
alone shows that the circle where Easy has found himself is a circle of billionaires. So I also want to find my son and daughter in the circle of trillionaires and not.
And that's why there's this saying that people said that basically watch who you have as your friends. Like, basically be intentional about your friends, because those are the people your children will know as connections tomorrow. So basically, yeah, you can say that.
Marriage to still talk about.
Yeah, one more marriage about with a soldier and a copper. Very, very unconventional wedding, but it's something that happens like a lot, because there's this song that I had that we sang a lot in camp. Then go bomb mumu, then they bomb mumu. If it's soldier marry copper, then go bomb. Are they about to give it to Mumu there?
No, but
for me, it's a very nice thing having this how unexpected. I think people stay 21 days in camp, and within that time frame, they got to
21 days.
21 days.
It's a long time.
I mean, what I say is
yeah,
trauma bonding. Really, all that happens in camp is
how
trauma
bonding.
Because
at
the end of the day, right?
At the end of the day,
I don't believe you can find love in camp, basically, because I feel like you are in an emotionally depressed state, and you need someone that
are you not happy that romance is
with
you uniform
on that level, really? Because I feel, no, basically that's my opinion, really. Everybody can have their opinion, but for me, right, it is a place where I'm feeling emotionally downcast. You two are feeling emotionally downcast, and we share our feelings together, and we are on the same platform. I don't feel that has nothing to do with love. Darling, has nothing to do with love. But I love love for people, right?
Barry and every other couple.
Are you jealous?
I love love for people. I said I love love. If you ask me, there's nothing. Love has nothing to do with what goes on camp. Love has nothing to do with survival. It's basic survival. People rely on each other for survival.
I'm not talking about love here. This is a golden reminder that amidst the chaos in the whole
there's always opportunity.
There's always people seeking for joy. And it's for this young man, he found joy in this beautiful, amiable young copper. And the wedding was so beautiful. I saw the elegant, giant-looking soldier picking up this beautiful, petite young copper and making her a wife. And I want to commend other soldiers, not bully them into marriage, but actually
because that's basically what I want to talk on, right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about now, we romanticize it now because it has led to marriage and everything. But what happens in the situation whereby it's the soldier uses that position to really make his love advances to this particular copper, and then because she doesn't accept these advances, uses it as an opportunity, his position as an opportunity to bully her during her stay in camp. Now we're seeing it from this point where they both loved each other, fine, fine. But we're talking about issues.
Barry, I will not allow you to land on that.
These are actually issues because that is why there are legislation. Like basically, right? It is not allowed,
and we don't bully.
Traditionally, right? Traditionally,
there's a tradition in military.
Institutionally, you're not even allowed to date. A copper and a soldier are not allowed to date each other.
I'm talking about.
And they're going to, during the stay in camp, and they're going to measures are being meted out to military officers that are caught in it.
No, he waited until this lady she was done with her service at the camp.
No, I'm done with that. I'm personally done with that story, right? But I'm talking about other issues, right? Because these are military policy
does not allow you to lay your hands on a woman.
Exactly.
That you're married to. So that's why you're given the sword, and you're told that this sword is not for you to kill, it's not for you to harm, but to protect. So I think on this note, we want to wrap up for today's show. We have an exciting moment with people out there, and we have passed on a lot of information. And my name remains Iko Kuchidozie Ikemba.
And my name is Barry.
And my name is Mohammed. Good morning.